All right. So again, welcome. Today, what is today? Today is the August the 7th, I believe. Yeah, Friday, August the 7th. We lose track of time now that we're always inside, right? It's harder to figure out what day it is. But we have, so far, we have 22 people who have joined us, which is great. And we're going to get started now. So this is a 2-gallery show. You know, we had a lot of artists entering, and I love the artwork that they submitted. So we did not want to leave anybody out as far as the artwork. Not all of the artwork got in, but most of it did. So we're just going to go through now. So you guys, when you have a chance, you can go through this on your own. So when, you know, you can watch how I do this. All of this is the functionality of the show itself. So you can hide this menu. You can hide the bottom catalog here, right? And you can, if you just hold your mouse on the top, you can come out as if you're walking out, right? Or you can go in, or to the right or to the left, or you can click on any one of the pieces and it will show up, right? And when you do that, there you have it. Now this piece here is called Promise 9, as you can see. And up top here is a little menu where if you click on it, it'll give you all the information in case you didn't see it here, or if you wanted to invite some of your friends to look at the work, or if you like it and you want to purchase it, okay? All of this is built in, and it makes it easy for the collector to collect the pieces. So to get out of this now, you can again drag the mouse back, so you're sort of like walking back, right? And if you don't like these images of the people, you can always click here and click on hide people. See, so now they're not there. Robert Davis, he's in attendance, right? Robert, would you like to talk about your work? Let's see now. This is
well, music brings life to the world. It excites us, inspires us, moves us, and unites us. That's the first thing. And then we go into what I have there. I'm trying to find my notes too. Can you hear me?
yes. I'm just showing the participants your work. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's a spin-off from Jasper Johns and
it's right there.
Rauschenberg, and the idea of taking ready-mades and put them into some kind of context. And that's what this is all about. It's about music. This is the latest thing I've done, but I've done a lot of these different areas of different types of art and different things with flowers, paintings, with trees and all these other things. So that's about what I can tell you right now.
Okay. So
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So these keyboards are actual keyboards that you've embedded onto the ground of the plywood, correct?
Right. That's right. And the thing is I found that in the school a couple of doors back from my house, and I pulled them out of the piano and took them home and put them all together and created a box and so forth to put the keys into it, and that's how it all developed. And I started already with doing guitars and doing different instruments and embed them on top of a painting. You know, everything is on, you know, different types of textures. You know, it could be a board or it could be canvas. But then I put supports behind it so I can tie things together and that type of thing.
So this is actually.
So that's basically, and I use a lot of color.
Okay. So this is actually a violin that we're looking
It's
at.
a full. No, you're looking at. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
This one here, which is called Dream World.
Ahorita estoy en vivo.
Right.
That's an actual violin, correct?
Yeah.
That's a violin. This is more surrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
The dream world, you know, that's what it is. It's more surrealistic, more like, you know, Dolly kind of thing, that type of thing.
Okay, okay. Like surreal.
More, a little more contemporary in the sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And are these aspects, these here, are these just the paint on the canvas? These here, these shapes?
That's on canvas. That's on canvas there.
Paint on canvas with the violin attached.
And the paint and the violin's attached in the back. The structure of the structure in the back. I'm adding pieces to it so I can put something into it sort of hold.
Okay.
And then this one on the left, the one on the left, the guitar.
Uh-huh. Yes.
That's the, you know, the burning there is, what's his name?
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix, right.
Okay. Okay.
Jimi Hendrix. But this thing was burned. It was somebody gave, a photographer gave me that. And it was down in my cellar for 10 years. And finally I did this because I got involved in this whole thing of, you know, music.
Okay.
But it's been burnt. It's totally toasted.
Wow.
Hard. And what's the name? Of course, Jimmy did that.
Wow.
Do it on stage. So I just put it together and I did sort of the Jackson Pollock thing because Jimmy's sort of crazy. So what the hell? Go for it.
All right. All right. So this is a full-size electric guitar that's been burnt. Now, did you yourself
I didn't
burn
burn
it?
it. Somebody. No, I say a photographer gave it to me. I don't know why he did that. I thought he's a photographer. He could use that in a gazillion ways.
Right.
And I'd say it was down in my cellar for 10 years after he gave it to me. And then I finally said, you know, I got into this music thing. And then that's when I, you know, figured out what I was going to do. But that ain't my first piece. It's on my first piece with guitars and stuff like that.
Okay. So this that's coming out of, like, hanging down, that's one of the strings?
That's part of, yes, that's part of the strings, right?
Okay. Okay. And you bolted this from the back, and this is on wood, right?
That's on canvas.
It's on canvas. Okay.
That canvas and then the stretcher is wood and the braces in the back are wood.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
It's all bolted together.
Okay. So those, have I missed any other pieces, or those were your pieces in the show?
That's my 3-piece.
Okay, great. Now,
I appreciate what you've done, and you've done a beautiful job on the videos. I've gotten compliments from Maryland Institute people, and
wow.
I've gotten it from other professionals in advertising stuff, and they said that your videos are fantastic. I just want to let you know that.
Thank you very much. And I create those videos so you can use them even after we have our show, right? Because it shows it's really about you.
I know.
And you're
that's really a blessing.
Great. All right. Well, does anybody have any questions for Robert? If you do, please ask now.
So I have one quick question, and this is from Jose Angel.
Okay, Jose, yes.
So Robert, we have very similar styles, and I call my work 3D mixed media. What do you
Right?
your work?
What's that? I didn't hear the last
So
part.
I said we have very similar styles.
I heard that.
I add three-dimensional elements to my flat surface. So I define my style as 3D mixed media. Obviously, these are not music, but they do have objects that
Right.
attach either by screws, bolts, zip ties to the flat surface. So I call it 3D mixed media. What do you
Right.
do in your work?
Right. I mean, but I just follow what, the Jasper Johns and those guys call it. They're called ready-mades. In other words, things that are already there, and you take them and use them in your painting or use them in your sculpture or whatever. That's the way I approach it.
Yeah,
I understand what you say. It's exactly right what you're saying.
Okay.
thank you.
I'd
Thank you.
say ready-mades and mixed media.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for that question, Jose.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any other question for Robert?
I appreciate it.
Or
Yeah. That guitar on the wall, is that a bass guitar?
What is this?
Is it a bass guitar?
it
So
looks
that-
like a bass guitar.
I'm not sure.
It
mean-
has only 4 strings, right?
I have an electric on my wall here. Yeah.
I
That
don't go into it that way. I'm going at it as music. Music is what's important to me and how it connects with people. The magic of it.
Well,
We're seeing it today more than ever because of what's happening with this pandemic.
right.
Yeah.
I
Big. And of course, that's part of the reason she created this imagery that she's doing right now and the name she's given and everything.
right.
Is that whole thing of art having an impact on the world.
Right. I think it's a good question, though. The fact that this is a bass guitar, and the sound is deep and I mean, it's just another aspect of the piece. And I think that's a good question. And thank you for that question.
Okay, thank you for answering.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions for Robert?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Now, I understand your theme is music. And like I said, Robert, we are very similar.
Yeah.
Because I do 3D mixed media, at least that's what I call it. And I use cowbells, and I use anything I could find that is either recycled or repurposed, and even some purchased products. To be an audience, who tends to buy that kind of art? In my experience, mostly a mid-range. In the 30s and the 40s are buying my work. And they stay within that bracket for the most part. But what I find most interesting, between females and males buying my art is pretty much even, 50-50. So who tends to be your audience? Who buys your work? I mean, if I'm demographics and I compare that to my demographics, just to get an understanding from a different perspective.
Well, it's a crossover. I mean, some of them are friends, some of them are people. I've had shows, for 15 years or so. I don't do it now anymore. I'm sort of on the end of the road, but it's a mix. It's never been one way or the other, as far as I'm concerned. And I guess I'm not what do you call that? You want a seller trying to make people buy everything? It's my sense of doing something, being creative is the important thing.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not how much,
So,
it's that, that doesn't, it's not that relative to the whole thing.
So you really
Thank you,
don't pay
Robert.
that much attention.
Great.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. Who's this?
So this is Rakhi this side. Hi, my name is popping up as my son's name. I'm sorry about that. This is Sapra this side. So Robert, I want to understand what gives you a happiness at the end of the day that this piece was successfully designed or painted as you started with. What is that one thing that gives you that level of satisfaction? Because I have heard a phrase which is called art is never finished, it's always abundant. So what makes you come to the conclusion that this painting is done and I am happy with it?
Well, you're never totally happy with it. Let's put it that way. But it's the idea of creation. What is creation? What is, the world's being created right now. We know that. Science is telling us. It's an ongoing struggle of going forward. It's a prospering take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Was that did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It gives me the sense of it. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. I think now I'm going to back out of Robert's work, and I believe we do have Jonathan on the line. Jonathan, are you here? Yes.
I'm here.
Okay, great. Jonathan, please talk about your work, especially Cave Dweller.
Let's see where to start. When I was making this work, I was reflecting on how with this pandemic, how we're all staying indoors and trying to avoid contact with people as much as possible. And all the dangers of today. And I was thinking about when we all were, hunter-gatherers, in the Neolithic, and how there were dangers, lots of dangers back then, and we all turned to the caves to keep us safe. So I was kind of relating, the two time periods, now and then, and how it's the same danger and we're trying to stay safe.
Thank you for that. It looks like the look on his face is very clear. Like there is, it's not like a happy time,
Yeah.
Can you talk about your process? This is a digital media drawing. Can you talk about your process?
Well, with this one, it all started off, I was in Photoshop and I was using my Wacom tablet, and I just started sketching, a face, eyebrows, whatnot, and then I decided to just start painting, putting color down, and I just kind of went with it, and saw where it took me.
Okay. So okay. So what is your general background? Are you a graphic designer?
I studied at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and I did a lot of digital stuff. My degree is in video, but when I was in school, I did a lot of Photoshop.
Okay.
So I've often tended to, I've all my life, I've drawn a lot. I like to draw, but nowadays I like to transfer my drawing into digital. I like to work digitally. Okay. I really, really enjoy Photoshop.
Okay. We can tell because you're really good at it. Look at the skeleton eating this apple. Tell us about this one, Adam of Eden.
Yeah, this started off as a sketch too. I was just doodling one day and I just drew this weird skeleton. I mean, I even gave it like a sort of dorsal fin for some reason. And I guess I was thinking that a lot of times when I make my art, I'm thinking about the past.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also minored in the classics, so I really enjoy ancient times,
Okay.
and old stories and things. But I guess I was thinking about, you know, the Garden of Eden,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, this is kind of related to environmental issues, but also, you know, the pandemic and things. Basically, we're sort of destroying ourselves
Mm-hmm.
with everything that we do. And I kind of related that to the Garden of Eden with the apple.
Ah, okay.
And I just a play on words, atom of Eden, you know, the power of the atom.
Yeah. Like atom bomb. Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay. And these fins that you have here, these dorsals, can you talk a little bit more about that? Is this then intimating about evolution?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was thinking about like ancient humans and things like that.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I think you have another one here. This one got
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I grew up with, like, I remember growing up with those got milk signs everywhere and, you know, things like that. So I kind of just made a play on words, and I have this little stylized mask with a hat, and it's kind of a joke, but it's also really serious.
Mm-hmm.
I also decided to put it on a sort of pixelated screen because I'm very into like retro things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up with my brother's, you know, video games and things. I'm into all that old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to put it on a sort of like an old screen.
Okay, like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I think we have one more. This one here, sticks, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, this one is directly related to Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
I've been into Greek mythology since probably when I was a kid. I've read all those stories and things.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because of what's going on now, you know, those stories like the ferryman Charon and the river Styx crossing to the underworld, you know, kind of I've been reflecting on all those stories and things
Mm-hmm.
to try to cope with and understand what's going on, you know.
All right. Very well done. Does anyone have any questions for Jonathan?
If you wish to inject hope in any of your work, how would you do it?
I tend to show things for what they are, you know, like the reality of things, so that people can kind of see that and then think about it and maybe change their ways, you know, kind of instead of, you know, seeing something. Sometimes seeing something negative might get you to, you know, someone to realize, and then they might be like, oh, okay, maybe I should change.
No.
You know.
Or at least contribute to the change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good thinking.
Yeah, yeah. But I think a lot of people struggle with the news, the negativity of the news, and it's, you know, so depressing. I think sometimes, you know, I myself have turned a little more cynical, and my nature is not a cynic, but I've seen so many bad things happening over and over again. I'm starting to not lose hope, but it actually helps me dig my heels even deeper to confront what is actually happening in the world. And if I feel any kind of responsibility, if I know that I have some kind of power, even if it's just in my own environment, to make it better, it is kind of good to see the dark side, because then, you know, actually without that, we won't have that contrast of the light side, the bright side. And so the whole theme of pandemic, the light therein, I was hoping that the artist would bring to bear both sides of the scales, the dark and the light, because you can't have the light without the dark, right? So, Jonathan, thank you for bringing to us the dark side. So we can.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a
compare? So we could compare the bright side. Somebody wants to ask a question. Go ahead.
Yes. This is Rakhi this side again.
Okay.
I am just inspired and really impressed with the limited color palette that Jonathan plays with.
Yes.
He's black and white, and he's happy with just using that as the shade of the painting. What makes you like choose certain colors over others when you are defining your black and white shades or limited palette choices of the painting? Why orange and yellow on the skeleton painting versus any other color? What makes you choose that?
I think the colors really reflect the mood of the piece. Like in that one, it's kind of sort of like doomsday, like fiery, kind of like fire sort of thing. Like in the story of, you know, the Garden of Eden, they were cast out of Eden, and basically Eden was destroyed. And in my mind, that seemed kind of like fiery to me.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, I like it.
Hey, can I ask a question as well, if you don't mind? And this is Jose again. So, Jonathan, this work that you're showing, I don't know if it was actually done for the calling, but my question is, how does these three pieces compare to your prior work? In other words, the pandemic has influenced everyone, and certainly me, and it has geared me, and not just the pandemic, the uprising of people has geared me to start doing some political themes a little bit more stronger that I traditionally did not do. So my question is, has this actually changed you in comparison to prior work? And is it going to be a long-term kind of like change, or is it temporarily, you know, your style changing a little bit because of time?
Well, throughout my life, I've kind of been through a lot of struggle. So my work tends to be kind of like that generally.
Gotcha.
And sometimes a little more because of what's going on. Like for as long as I was in college, I was working on a post-apocalyptic story, which really talks a lot about the things I've been through, sort of. But yeah, I kind of, for some reason, tend to have a sort of more serious, grungy sort of theme with my works.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jonathan.
And thank you, Jonathan, for being creative, period. You know,
Yeah.
I think many artists can attest that doing the art itself is very therapeutic. I know for me that was true as a little girl. So does anyone have any other questions for Jonathan? Okay, great. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Thank you for sharing your art with us.
Yeah.
And we'll move along. Let's see, we have on this side, we have Andrew. I'm not sure if Andrew is on the call. Andrew, are you on the call? Andrew Armas? Okay, and
You're in gallery 2. This isn't yoga. You're in the first gallery.
I believe Elena is on the call though. Elena, are you on the call? I saw her come in earlier.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, very good. Welcome, Elena. Very good. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to talk about this piece here?
Okay. This is called, excuse my accent and my idiom. I am a Spaniard. But it's called Mad Words with Blessings. So it's a metaphor. It's like the silence when it snows.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen the silence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what has happened, because I think we have to wake up. We have to wake up, but nature is already waking up. Nature has given us a lesson, because we need to. I think this crisis, it's to evolutionate. Even it's coming out a lot of rubbish. We have to understand and have openness and optimism. This is quiet, it's still, but it's deep. That's it. And I think we have to take a new attitude towards everything and have more compassion, more, sobre todo, I'm sorry, humility. Almost humility.
Ah.
And
The lady talking.
And that one, I had a better photo now.
That's okay, we get the gist of it.
But that one I have sold it, and it was in Spain, and I didn't have photo. But now I have a good photo. But it's texturized. It has a lot of metallic pigment.
Okay.
And this is based on a poem from an Italian girl. I have it here. I'm going to have it. I'm going to read it. It was March 2020. The streets were empty, closed the stores. People were no longer going out. However, spring did not know. The flowers kept blooming, the sun shining, the swallows coming back, the sky colored pink and blue. It was March 2020. Young people stood connected. Everyone was in mandatory quarantine. Spring did not know, and the roses bloomed again. The pleasure of eating together discovered. To write, learning, living the imagination free, reading, flying with fantasy. That's it. Well, it's a very long poem, but the title is Spring Didn't Know. And that's it. Because I think humanity has to connect, has to be human unity. And we don't need borders. I think this has to give us a big lesson. And this is how I feel pandemic crisis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, very good. Did you have a third piece? I think you did.
Did I have what? Sorry?
Did you have a third piece? Or
Another.
Or was it just these two?
I had another one called Mother Earth. It was the Venus of a labyrinth. But it's not here. I think it's not here.
Okay. Does anyone have any question for Elena?
Sorry?
I like looking at her flowers in the midst of all of this death and destruction. Beautiful.
Yes.
I lived in Italy for a long time.
It's very easy. My art is very easy. It's simple. I can be more complicated, but this is simple.
The background is complicated, but the painting is beautiful. It's simple life. You're right. Nature did not know what was going on, never will. Nature just goes on. It's us who are screwing it up.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Elena?
I just got a little comment. I think, Elena, you did a beautiful thing in tying two different medias. You gave us a visual, and you also gave us a beautiful words, the poem. And I find that, Elena, that you're very creative, and I appreciated that.
Thank you, Jose Angel. I am a little deaf. I cannot listen good, but thank you so much.
A la orden.
Very good. All right. Any other questions for Elena? All right. I think Rakhi is on the call. Rakhi, are you on the call?
Yes, I am on the call.
Yes. Okay, great. Would you like to talk about your artwork here? This first one is Blue Mountain.
Sure. The very first thing, definitely the whole purpose of art is to inspire us and to really give us a beautiful feeling inside our hearts. And that's the goal that I start painting anything on the canvas with. The Blue Mountains is named perfectly as Blue Mountains because it's the color combination that was used was really serene and blue in the concept. I was trying to really appreciate the beauty of the Mother Nature at the same time we are in this pandemic, but the moment of peace in the heart and the soul that Mother Nature brings to us makes us really beautiful and create that transformation in our heart. So that's the whole idea of developing this painting. And I use the strokes and the mountains and the trees with just the stillness and peace that every stroke brings to my nerves and soul, and creating that beautiful best within me. So that was the whole idea that I was building upon when I created this piece. And it started with a picture on a blue mountain that I took on the way while driving from North Carolina. So that's the starting point of I started building on. So that's the majority. So I really wanted to inspire and bring that beauty of Mother Nature to people by showing this piece. And I also was inspired by one of the poem by Harriet Monroe. I can narrate that poem, which talks about Mother Earth. It says, "Oh, grand old time has the earth in the long, long life she lives. From her huge mist-shrouded birth, when reeling from under, she tore space under and feeling her way through the dim first day. Roses wheeling to run in the path of the sun, from then till forever, tiring, not passing, never, she labors and laughs and gives." So that's like first paragraph. I can continue with the poem, but I don't want to bore you guys. So that's what inspired me to create this.
Very nice, very nice. This is very wonderful poem beginning. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that section with us. But I'm going to just keep going to the rest of your artwork. I believe it's on this wall here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Let me just draw it out so we can see all three on this side. Yes. So would you like to just give us a general, and I'm going to hide the people. So they're a little distracting, yes. So Rakhi, would you like to talk about these pieces here? For instance, this mountain view?
Yeah, so the idea when I started thinking on what I would want to put on a canvas, mountains are very close to my heart, and I wanted to present the mountains in a more misty and foggy feeling. So the idea that was to my thought process is, how about showing a peak of mountain which is all covered with the mist? So that's what I started building upon. And I tried to make sure that my peak is very solidly visible among that mist and blurriness. So that's the whole idea that inspired me to create this piece. And I was thinking to really have a very clear vision that we all are like this mountain which can survive among the mist of our life, the blurriness of the life, and the struggles that come into the world, that comes to us when we are in the world. But we can still be this mountain peak, and we can still be so solid and so strong, like a foundation of a hilly mountain. Yeah, that's the idea I had. I just wanted to show the strength within us.
Yes.
Having this.
Yes, very, very well said. Very well said. And how about this one?
This is a beach seaside view, and I was missing the sea because of the COVID, you cannot go close to the sea and just enjoy the ocean waves and the whole serene peace. And every ocean wave brings such a fresh air and beautiful spirit that ocean waves can bring to your heart. So I started painting a seaside, just envisioning what was it like if I could go to a beach and just sit there in the plain air and do this painting, versus just imagining what the sea looks like and doing it. So that's the whole idea. I was missing the sea, and it does reflect my closeness and true feeling towards the sea that I was trying to represent.
Very good, very nice. Thank you for sharing that. And this last one, stillness.
Yes, and this, when I started thinking on this painting, how I can put the stillness and calmness among the nature that that freshen us and give us a new true spirit and so much inspiration to us. And that's where I started creating, okay, I want a moment of stillness in my heart, in my soul. And what can give that stillness? That is the best part. So I started painting this, and I played with the palette just to show that it's so calming to our souls and heart and changing to the life. That's what I was trying to represent. So that's the idea behind my paintings. I've been from like all time since I was 6-year-old. Art is such a passion and true love for me because it just creates so much transformation in the heart.
Right.
What I try to depict.
Well, thank you for sharing your thought process with us. It's very interesting to learn how the artist conceives of the work they want to do and the reasons why they paint. So thank you for sharing that with us. Does anyone have any questions for Rakhi?
I'd like to add about nature.
Okay.
And God. I have a garden in Baltimore City. It's only 15 feet wide and 80 feet deep. I've been working on it for 45 years.
Wow.
It's all flowers. But we have 2 cedars, magnolia and a cherry. We have our sunny side. And she's right. Nature brings you close to God and to nature itself and to the earth. And these are enormous things. I spend 3 to 4 hours all the time in my backyard taking care of my garden.
Nice.
I mean, it's just, you know, it's overwhelming. The,
Can you explain
power
that
of-
to Trump, please?
And also, I want to tell she has beautiful color in her work. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great, great.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Zoom in on that far left piece. I think sometimes arts takes life on its own. And I'm not saying Rakhi, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm not saying, I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean this actually in a very good way.
Okay.
So when I squint my eyes, I see a profile of a person's face with a black mask, so that's the shade side, and a blue eye with eyebrows.
Yeah. This is the eyebrows, right? This is the eyebrows.
No, the eye, the black mask. You know, we're all wearing masks these days.
Yeah.
And I saw that. I mean, I know that wasn't your intention, but does that sometimes?
Great, great. It's great that we all see different things, you know, like your Rorschach test, right? What do you see?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments or questions to Rakhi? Thank you so much, Rakhi, for sharing your artwork with us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's see if we have, do we have Jan? Jan, are you with us? Her pieces are so whimsical. She's not here. Okay. Let's see who else we have. I think we covered
They covered this whole
we covered this whole gallery. So now I'm going to go to the other gallery.
Okay, good.
Which is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Really almost they took out 4 pieces, and I see.
We have Tillman. I know Tillman is with us. Tillman, are you still here?
Right here.
All right. Thank you for being on the call and being a part of the reception and a part of the exhibit. Would you please like to talk about, let's start with this one called Carnal Minded Clowns.
Oh, well,
That's
that
really
picture,
well.
can you hear me though?
Yes, yes. And anybody else who's talking in the background, you can mute yourself so we can hear Tillman clearer. Okay, Tillman, continue.
Well, most of my artwork when I create it, it's based off of visions. See, so these pieces that I've created, they were pretty much already created way before this pandemic, but how this relates is that so many people are going around taking this coronavirus for a joke, you know, and they're having thoughts of the world and instead of thinking of it in a spiritual light. And I once heard about the people throwing coronavirus parties, literally throwing parties to where they have a pot of money and everybody that shows up have a pot of money. Like they put money in the pot, and whoever catches the virus or gets symptoms of it first, they win the pot of money.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've literally heard about that. And this kind of stuff, that's a symbol of the party. That's a symbol of having a carnal mind, which is a worldly mind. Mm. And this here symbolizes if you notice in the picture, you see some faces with happy faces. You see some with kind of like sneaky or evil faces. This is just a sign of people in the world that's not taking this whole pandemic seriously.
Is Trump the one in the bottom left with the red lips?
No. That's funny though.
Unfortunately.
How about Lady at the Cross?
Well, I was told that we should think about what we can do to heal from this situation. And this is basically what we can do with it. You know, like the Lord says, take your problems to the cross, you know, get on your knees, you know, and pray about this whole thing that's going on. You know, don't just hide from it. What God really wants us to do, and this is basically what all of my pictures are saying. What God wants us to do is to cry out to him, act like he exists, acknowledge him. You know, don't just run around the world like nothing's, you know, like everything is just about you and about the world, but go to God on your knees, kneel down and respect in respect and reverence to him, and cry out to him. I believe that this is the answer to this whole thing going on with this famine. That's what this picture represents, and my other picture is pretty much the same thing, but I'll talk to you a little bit about them.
In Rome, next to the Campidoglio, there's a church. And the benefactor to the church said to God, if you deliver us from the bubonic plague, I will build you a church. And it's one of the most beautiful churches in Rome. You walk up several hundred steps to get there. And the church is absolutely extraordinarily filled with just unbelievable art in thanks for God delivering the people from the bubonic plague.
Nice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tillman, would you like to discuss your last piece here? Prayer sticks.
I don't think this was the last one, but
Oh, okay. Right, that's our.
Yeah, that one's mine too.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll discuss this. This one's, like I said, it's pretty much the same thing. This is the answer. I believe, like I said, I see things in a vision. I get visions, and this one here, this is pretty much explaining the same thing. See the Bible in the top right-hand corner?
Yes.
That's the answer. We take our prayers to God about this whole situation. At the top, where it says prayer unseen equals COVID-19.
Yes.
That's not actually painted in the picture. That's just the tag that I put on there.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I gave this kind of the stick figure look. I used it as abstract. You know, that's I didn't want it to be people. I wanted to just be abstract, but to have a meaning at the same time.
Okay.
You know, and with the hands lit up, you notice the hands, they're lit up around there to make the hands look like they have like a light around them.
Yes.
Well, that's the light. That's the light in our prayers. That's the light that God wants to see coming out of us during this pandemic. Mm-hmm. You know, and we could go to the next one. That's pretty much what it means. And this one over here, you see all of the people that are dancing around and just going on with their own lives.
Yes.
Kind of like a party scene, but then you notice the world distorted, and you see the face that's in the world that's looking up to God, crying out to him.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much what we should be doing. But instead, we have people just going on like it's like this whole pandemic thing and other things in the world aren't even happening. They're just going on with their lives like it has nothing to do with them when it has everything to do with them.
Mhm.
As in,
Everybody's running around like, what do we do? What do we do? They're hiding, they're ducking, they're dodging, they're panicking. When God is just telling us to do what this space is doing in the world. All he wants us to do is cry out to him. Ask him for forgiveness and ask him to protect us and to lead us and guide us. So this is basically what we should be doing in this world.
do you think this is the message the Pope is giving?
I believe that it's a message to everybody, especially to God's people, but it's a message to everybody that we need to acknowledge the Lord more for who he is. Yes, I do believe that.
Mhm.
That's my belief.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you, Tillman, for sharing your belief with us. Now, are there any other questions that the participants may have? Anyone for Tillman?
So the cross one, the lady at the cross. Now, is that like directly related to, say, like like the stained glass artwork in like the cathedrals and the churches and things? Like, is that kind of where you got the inspiration for that?
Like Southwest.
You know, that's funny because my ex-wife asked me the same thing, the exact same question. No, I just saw it in a vision. I envisioned it and I drew it.
Tell us about your visions.
My visions about my visions for this, about my visions for anything.
In general, you did mention that your artwork comes from your vision. So are
Comes
these
from my visions.
during the day or at night or?
All day, every day.
Ah, okay.
All day, every day. My mind is like you're surfing channels on a TV.
None of it is from dreams in the night?
No, they're just visions.
During the day? During
the day or night. It doesn't matter. I just get
waking hours.
Just get visions. Or I have a very deep imagination. A very deep imagination, and you'll experience that and see what I mean in some of my other works that I present.
Okay. Now, I have a question for you, Tillman, and that is your choice of media. You have color pencil and acrylic paint. Now, how does it work for you to mix those two, the pencil and the paint?
Without smearing it everywhere?
Well, is the ground that you're doing this on, is it paper or is it canvas or is
it's a board. It's just a regular matting board.
Okay.
I don't know how to turn them.
Yeah, this picture here is actually two boards put together. It's huge.
Barbara's right there, but
I think we lost your audio, Tillman. Can you?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, but it's sort of like at a distance. Maybe
artists or something. And
can you get closer? Okay, that's better.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
So you were telling us about your color pencil and acrylic paint on board. Is it?
You know, that's funny that you say that because this is two pieces of board put together. This picture is huge.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's like 5 feet tall.
Yeah, it's pretty big. But I like to mix mediums because when I just like the typical way to create art, to me it seems like if you start off with a picture that's supposed to be oil painting, then you're gonna just do it all in oil. Me, I don't never do a picture with just one medium. I always use several different mediums. Like this one here, this one, that cross is used with like maybe pastel.
How to make this a small.
The rest is paint.
Okay. If you're talking in the background, guys, can you mute yourself so we don't hear you? Okay. Okay. All right. Does anyone have any other questions for Tillman?
Just say, I want to say that it's great work. It's very deep and it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
I want to talk about the one with the clowns, the one with the joke. I always work with, I work with visions too. And I have I have painted an apocalypse, St. John apocalypse, and it has a clown. It means we have to be ridiculous of ourselves too. I think I can see that interpretation, to laugh at ourselves. And that one has flashed me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister likes that picture a whole lot.
Yeah. There's sometimes instead of crying, I'll laugh. Because after all, it's just, what can you do? You know, just laugh, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Any other comments or questions for Tillman? Tillman, how long have you been painting with the theme of the Bible or Christ or religion as such? Have you always painted your themes about that, or have they progressed there lately? Or you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And I used to just create stuff off the top of my head, and it was looking pretty dark.
Okay.
I mean, like really dark, like with only evil involved. And back in 2003, my mom told me, you know what, you should pray and ask God to show you what he would have you to create. And I guess that's where my visions came from. And she told me, just start creating to the glory of God and not just to basically the glory of your mind, of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I was thinking in a carnal sort of fashion when I first started like creating art.
Mm-hmm.
But after my mom told me to pray and ask God what he should have me to draw or create, and he would show me. And that's when my artwork started changing. That was back in 2003.
Wow.
And like I said, I'll submit other art pieces, and you'll see, the more art that I submit, you'll see what I mean when I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, how my imagination and how my visions are put in order. You'll see that mostly my artwork has to do with our biblical.
Okay.
Most of it.
Well, thank you. I really want to thank you for, I want to say, exposing your beliefs very clearly and very succinctly, and letting us know who you are, what you do, why you do it, when you started doing it, and how it continues. So thank you for being here and helping the participants on this call to even more appreciate what you've presented for this exhibit. Thank you, Tillman. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, moving along to Barbara. Yay, Barbara. I know are you here, Barbara?
I am still here.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us.
It's been a wonderful journey so far. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to ask you about your art. Now they're just wonderful. I mean, your execution of your work and your control of the medium is exquisite. Let's talk about your now this is simply an acrylic painting. All of them are, I believe.
They are all just acrylics, yes. And the first one that you're showing is the first one in this series that I did. And the new year came, January 2020, and I never know when it's going to happen, but something was inside of me that had to come out differently. And I started doing these paintings that connected, all the parts of it connected. And you can keep looking and looking and feel the interconnection. So I decided to call the whole series Interconnectedness. And today's history, how did I know that this was going to be what would be happening 2 months down the road? It's a fascinating subject, and it happens in trade, travel, communication. It travels faster and faster. And little did we know, and I still say this to everybody I see, which is not a lot of people, I say, never in my lifetime did I dream that this would be happening in my lifetime.
None of us did. So Barbara, the pandemic was already present in China in January, December, November, October. So in your inner spirit, you already had a premonition of what was to come.
That is quite possible. And
reality.
It was inside of me, and I just had, and what has happened since then, I've thought about my joys, my sorrows, how this has affected me. If in the beginning, it was a lot of disappointment. I was scheduled to go to London and be part of a group show sponsored by Rise Art Prize. And it never happened. The show hung and the doors closed. And it still to this day has not opened. It still will, but I won't be there. And so, you know, that was just a art disappointment.
Yeah.
I missed a one-person show in Winter Park. In May, I always take a month of travel, and that usually inspires me for the next year. And that didn't happen. So I had to reach inside of me and pull out what was inside of me.
Yep.
And what I found inside of me, I always thought I would be a wonderful recluse. Now, any of you who know me know that I'm one of the most social people out there, but deep inside of me, I want to be a recluse. Well, this came along, and how did I know this would happen? I'm loving this. I'm not loving that there's a pandemic, sadness, illness. I'm loving that I am finding myself. It's taught me to think, to reflect on the past, to reflect on the future. It's time to just paint what I want, get my priorities straight, and just go with it. And so that's my story. I'm an X-ray technician that quit after 15 years and said to my boss, I'm going to become an artist. And he goes, what do you know about art? And I said, I'm going to learn. And that was 45 years ago. And I've done nothing but paint since then.
You're a superb artist, and always remember, Barbara, that as you've been going through this journey, you are with a fabulous man. You're
Thank
not
you.
totally alone, which makes a very big difference. I think it shows up in your work.
Thank you. And my man, let him raise his hand.
I saw him.
He's there. Say hi, Helen.
Hi.
It's the other Barbara here.
Right, wow.
Yes, and I also just saw Pat and David Dabbert just sign in, and they just got in time to hear me. The Dabberts have been with me on my journey for 14 of the last years. They got well, I don't think they got the university. They were part of the University of Tampa, acquired 53 of my paintings for their health and graduate school.
Wow.
And the Dabberts have been instrumental in my journey along the way. I want to thank the Dabberts.
Is that profit or separate?
The Dabberts would like to thank Barbara Krupp. We couldn't. She's been our inspiration as our best artist in our gallery for almost 16 years now, I think, Barbara.
Okay.
So we're so happy that you're part of this, and we're listening intently and learning.
Thank you.
I love the interaction, you guys. It's wonderful. And you know, the pandemic has brought us together in a way that we may not have come together because of, we don't have to travel, we don't have to ship artwork, none of that. But the main point is that as a people, as a humanity, together, we come together to exchange ideas, to exhibit the work. You can see it. Yes, you can't see the actual piece, but you can see enough of it to get the spirit of it. And the artists have taken the time to be here so we can enjoy their narrative that's outside of the title and the actual painting itself. So again, thank you very much, Barbara, for sharing your artwork with us and for sharing your ideas and your journey, right? On what you, now I didn't hear what you said. You said you were a technician, but I didn't hear what type of technician that you were, that you quit. What was that?
I took x-rays.
X-rays.
And I say I'm a former x-ray technician with a background in science.
Wow.
And I have a love of gardening. And it combines my knowledge of the body and my love of nature to produce art that grows out of the interconnections of these two very distinct forms.
Wow, wow, excellent. I can see in your aesthetic the biomorphic sense of it, that it's moving, almost like a watercolor would move. You've created the image to have motion to it and activity. So I think that's true about the body and life itself. So again, I think you've done an excellent job with the artwork that you've shown here. Now, does anybody have any questions for Barbara or comments?
It might look a little bit like viruses within the human body.
Yay, great.
Great. Well, hi, Mike and Vicki. Humor Vero Beach. Carolyn, I want to thank you personally for having me, for choosing me. I was very impressed to be in your gallery. When your gallery was a real gallery, it was certainly impressive looking.
Great, great. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm glad that you're here. Because like I've told the artists, just because there's this pandemic, it doesn't mean we have to stop what we do. We may have to change the venue or the actual way we do it, but the doing of it is still going to be strong. And I wanted to facilitate the artist's ability to still have a deadline to still have to submit work, you know, the whole activity of the business side of art, not just creating the art, but actually the economics of it, the business side of it. You still have to do your thing, not just create the artwork, but actually share it with others and let people know that you have it available. So thank you, all of you, the artists tonight, for taking me up on this invitation and for having me as one of your supporters in that I was able to facilitate this and also this call, which I think this was the first time I've done a call like this for the artist opening. So thank you very much. I'm used to doing it in the actual gallery, and we'll have slides in the background and the artist would come up with the microphone and talk. So this isn't too far off from what we've done in the past. So again, I didn't want to stop what I was doing, and that meant that I had to make sure the artists wouldn't stop what they're doing. So thank you for collaborating with me on this. All right.
Very well done.
Great.
Carolyn,
Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. Did
thank you,
anyone,
Carolyn.
oh, you're welcome. Did anyone else have any comments for this group of artwork?
This is obviously the wave of the future.
Yes, yes, yes.
In every respect, every form of the art world.
Mm-hmm.
Frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Done a very fine job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so if we have no other questions for Barbara, I'm going to click on this one around the corner and see who do we have. Ah, Kathleen. Kathleen, are you with us? Kathleen? No, okay. I think she's actually traveling and in Florida. I hope she's well. Okay, so who do we have here? Heidi. Heidi, are you with us? Heidi's work is just beautiful. Look at this, the acrylic. Lymphocytes and very biological. This one, macrophage. And the last one of hers, killer T cell. So very nice. I'm sorry Heidi couldn't be on the call. Her work was very beautiful. So I'm gonna pull out and see who we have left. Ah, who is this? Okay, Teresa Camozzi. Teresa, are you with us?
Right here.
No, Teresa isn't. And hers was just gorgeous, gorgeous work. She told me a little bit about how she does this. She actually has like layers of acrylic glass layered on top of each other with different images on each pane. Very, very well. So yeah, that's why she's got here sculpture, photo, digital print, all on 3 sheets of plexiglass. So the effect is just phenomenal. Very beautiful. I think we had this person, Andrew Armas, in the other gallery as well, but I don't think he's here. Did I leave anyone out? Does anyone? I think we covered all the artists. So now a lot of you were very quiet. Let's open it up for, let's see, what time is it? It is now 8:35, so we have about 20 minutes left. Anybody have any just general statement that they'd like to make? Anything?
I'm quiet, but out of the plague came the Renaissance. What would we like to see come out of this pandemic?
Wow.
I'm sorry, repeat? What did you ask?
Out of the bubonic plague came the Renaissance in Florence.
Mhm.
What would we like to see come out of this pandemic?
Oh, that's a good question for everyone. What would we like to see? What I would like to see more than anything is higher intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because that we've learned so many things that it's been magnified. This pandemic has magnified the problems of the world, so we can see it even more sharply. So hopefully what I'd like to see is more intelligence, in that now we see it more clearly. We can, now that we can confront it maybe even more drastically, that we can be more innovative in our resolutions of these problems. That's what I would like to see. In whatever form that intelligence comes, hopefully it's a positive intelligence and not a dark one.
And working together for the common good.
Yes, yes.
A sense of community, the whole worldwide, Carolyn. Thank you so much. What a lovely evening.
Thank you, Carol, for coming. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
And more people turning to the Lord.
Okay. Okay.
Like we're all supposed to be doing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But thank you for the invite.
This is the first time I've ever been into like an actual gallery.
Uh-huh.
I'm really glad to have been part of it. You know, I've been a part of like community things before,
Yes.
you know, local town things, but this is my first actual, you know, thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's virtual, it's still, you know, a very, very good experience. And I do hope that in the future people look to history, because this is going to be history. And I hope people start coming together and you know, make good changes.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Well
It's
said.
international, isn't it correct,
Yes. Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
International.
Uh-huh. We have, you know, we have
Right.
artists from different countries represented in not just this show, but others as well. One of the things I thought about was that it is a big hassle, especially now. We had an artist who's from Iran. He couldn't ship his work. He did ship it, but it was held up because it was coming from overseas. And so to have a virtual show, at least his, you know, the work isn't halted completely. At least the image of it is represented. Not in this particular show, but in another show that we have. But originally, maybe a year ago, I was thinking about how can I get more international artists to participate in the exhibits that Art Impact International is doing. And I thought of some kind of virtual show. So the pandemic has actually hastened my vision. So now it just makes sense to do it. So again, I just want to say thank you guys for being here and for being a part of this. Like Jonathan said, we are a part of history because this is not normally done in the mainstream. But changes come and we have to sort of roll with it and just learn to not just hold on to the past, but also make a way for what's now and what's needed now and make a brighter future. So with that said, anybody else want to say anything about this show, Pandemic, the Light Therein? We have one more after this. We're going to have one more show, which is going to be the September show. So if any one of the artists that are present here, if you would like to extend and be a part of August show, just let me know and we can make it happen.
So I have a question.
Yes.
art from all over the world being stopped at our border?
No, not all, but any international shipments are being waylaid because of the pandemic. It's not necessarily based on politics, but just as an example, though, this is political. When I went to send just the catalog to the artists in Iran, there was a law now, or I should say a policy from Iran saying that no paper can be sent, no letter, no book from the United States. So I thought that was quite interesting. I'm glad that the postal worker showed that to me, because she learned too. Otherwise, it would have been something like $30 just to send a little book to the artist. So I emailed him and let him know, what had happened, and that hopefully in the future I can send it to him. But there is a lot of international politicking going on that is sad. Really, it's sad. But
sure, we've all noticed.
Yeah. So, but as long as we stay creative, I don't think anything will stop us from communicating our creativity, especially at least we do have the internet. We have this facility that we can use, and I will stay the course. No matter what happens, we're going to be able to show our artwork and have these discussions and receptions, quote unquote, right? I think we did pretty well, don't you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So our next viewing, or if we wanted to send in some other artwork for like September, or like you said,
yeah,
does it have to refer to the same theme?
Well, this September is going to be our last pandemic, the light therein. So in essence, yes.
Okay.
But I mean, it's so broad. You can come up with another angle of it. You see, it can be the good, the bad, or the ugly. It's very, very vague in that sense. So you
Why don't make it hope?
Yeah. Whatever you feel like you want to say, quote unquote, or communicate to the community of viewers of your art, just let it rip. Let it happen. Let it out.
Let it rip, huh?
Yep.
Okay, remember you told me that.
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna let it rip. I'm gonna do just that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think I have, let's see, I think I have one more. Yeah, there was another show tonight that opened, and that was from an artist in Irvine, California, and I promised him that I would show you guys his work. And he told me, he said, "Oh, I'm very shy about talking about my work." So I told him, I understand, but I'm still going to show the work. So I'm going to do that right now and just show you his work. I'm going to hide the people so it's not distracting. And this is a person who his background is in graphic design, and he is now doing aluminum sculpture. So these are images of his sculpture, which I think is just fantastic, very beautiful. And this is a solo exhibit in one of our galleries. And I think I sent everybody, if not everyone on the call, you can view this on our website as well. And
I haven't seen it.
you haven't seen it yet, yeah. This one.
So Carolyn, where are you physically located in your gallery?
In DC, in Washington, DC. That is our gallery, and we have offices in Colonial Beach, Brooklyn. That's really home office in a sense that wherever my laptop lands, that's where the home office is. But we do have a gallery called Studio Gallery 208 that Dr. Sandra Epps has generously allowed us to utilize to give exhibits, and also we've delivered talks there, presentations, workshops, right? So in the future, we're going to be sending out information about that as well. But for now, we can't quite do it because of the pandemic.
What is the address of that gallery?
It's 6445 Luzon Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. It's one of the addresses that you see on all of my emails. It's always there.
Okay. I used to live in, I don't recognize the street address though.
Okay. All right. So, so this was Ken Jones, and the other one is Spiritual Chaos, featuring a West Australian artist. And he told me that a New York gallery titled his type of work Symbolic Expressionism.
Symbolic of what?
I guess I'm not sure, but symbolic of ideas. Because he did do a artist talk with me. That's on his page on our website. His name is Benjamin L.M. That's his stage name. And so he talked a lot about the symbolism behind his artwork.
Surrealism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really big time.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Spiritual warfare is real. He puts a lot of stock in his titling, which is great. You know, here's another one.
Never mentioned how much any of these paintings cost.
Well, this one, it has the price on it. This one is $1,200. Yeah. And maybe, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, any of these pieces in all of our galleries, it's set up so that you can always click on the buy button, and it'll take you to our website with the e-commerce function.
Okay.
Which is this, you see? Right? And if you click on it, it comes out bigger.
Right.
See? So a lot goes on with these shows that I put on for you guys. It's not just putting the artwork in the virtual gallery, but it's making it have a very good function for the art collectors, to make it easy for them to see it up more close, to see, right? To also purchase it if they like, right? And we have, and they can go right back here, see? So, and if they want to invite somebody, they can invite to share it on these platforms, on these social media sites. Go ahead.
For example.
I'm sorry, go ahead, ask again.
You have no idea what inspired that painting that we just looked at, for example.
Okay.
Because he's not here, right?
Right. Well, West Australian time is 12 hours ahead, but I did invite him to show up, and if you guys would like him to talk about his work with you, let me know. Actually, let me do a little poll here.
You know what? Aborigine? Is he an Aborigine?
No, he's not Aborigine. No, he's not. Actually, I'm gonna. I got myself stuck on this this thing here. Let me go back to our. Tell me, guys. Unmute yourselves and tell me if you'd be interested in hearing what he has to say about these pieces.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Okay.
I would love to hear about his work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Barbara Reddy.
Yes.
I'm very interested. His work is fascinating.
Okay, great.
But all the
Michael and Vicky Giannotti, interested?
Okay, thank
Woo!
you.
Incredible.
This one is,
Yeah.
we're more like angels than monkeys.
Yeah, good.
Speaking of like other countries and time zones, you said you were recording this, right?
Yes.
Because my childhood friend, he's from South Korea. He wasn't able to stay the whole time.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the video, right? Which only means if we have like long silences or me fuddling around with buttons, I'm going to delete those, and we'll have an intro and an outro. And then I will load the video onto YouTube, and also send the link to all of you so you can share it with whomever you'd like. But I'll do that within the next 48 hours. Whenever I do video, I try my best to keep it quick and not take like, you know, like a month or 2 months to get the finished product done. I've been, you know, especially the mainstream media, we've done interviews, and I have yet still to get the finished product. And that's been 3 years. So I try to avoid taking forever and a day to get the finished product done. So
You do all that editing yourself?
yes, yes,
Whoa.
yes.
Yeah, I know how long it can sometimes take to do video editing.
Yes, yes. Some people ask me, Carolyn, do you sleep? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm, you know, I see the sun come up and I'm still working. I'm like, what? But I love the work that I do. Why? Because it's about art, and art is really, it has a power of its own, you know? And to work with artists, it's like, for me, the most beautiful thing to do. When I first became an artist, I thought artists were gods. I'm like, oh my goodness. It took me years before I can call myself an artist. But I never stopped wanting to help artists. From the 6th grade, I was always helping artists, even in undergrad and grad school.
Paint or just manage art?
Both.
So why are we not looking at some of your paintings?
Oh, we could. I'm just not in this show. Are you guys interested? You want to see it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me get to it. Let me open a new my website is my website is Abstract Paintings. Abstract. Oops, spell it right.
One of my favorite sayings is go for the
what?
Go for the gold.
All right. I was one of the first artists who had a website in the 90s, right? So that's how I got abstractpaintings.com, and then I got it to .org. So I have both domains, .org and .com.
So where did you go to school?
I went to school in University of Florida for my undergrad, and then for my grad for University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
I graduated from there probably before you were born, 64.
Okay, no, I was born in 60.
I graduated, honey, in 1960.
Oh, okay. Got you. Hey, I'm gonna be 60 years old this year. I'm so excited. See, I had a fortune teller tell me, and she should have never said this. Oh, girl, you're gonna die at age 40. So you could imagine when I turned 40, I was looking around. I was like, oh my God, what's gonna become? So every day after 40, I feel like I'm blessed to be still alive. So this is the most recent show that I was in at the Strathmore Mansion in Maryland.
I went to a wedding there recently.
Oh, okay. So you know. So
up the hill.
Yeah. So I do encaustic, which is pigmented beeswax, and I like a challenge, so I paint on glass.
Wow.
Glass. So this is a I'm gonna play it. It says it's a thing. So here, and this is also on glass.
Is that reverse painting?
Yes, in a way, because what I do is I spray paint the back. This one was, I'm gonna pause it here. This one is called Justice One, the Harmony of Yin Mayat. I love history myself. And so the titles for this particular show was based on Egyptian mythology as well as the I Ching, which is like a divination process that the Chinese created. And Mayat is the goddess of justice.
Right.
Yin is the yin yang, and yin would be the female, yang is the male. So that's why I put yin in front of Mayat. She's the female idea of justice. And so I have the harmony. So this is just one of 2 justice paintings. So I wonder if I can make it a little bigger for you. But anyway, this one is 24 by 57 in total size. So again, this is a very simple painting, but this one did sell, which was nice. And
vertical?
Pardon?
Is it vertical?
Yeah. This is the normal. This is a horizontal piece. Yeah. So the glass, which I got on this, what is it called? Craigslist. Yeah. I got a ton of greenhouse grade glass. And so I spray paint the one side of it, and then the opposite side, I paint with the beeswax. And I make my own paint. I love the process. I'm from Trinidad originally, so I love heat. I don't mind cooking in the heat in the studio. So that's one of them. Let me go down. This is another one. I made a little video of it. This is a 32-second video. If it'll show. This is Therein. Right, so that's another
very Bond.
Thank you.
You're a talented lady.
Thank you. I have a heck of a lot more that didn't make it to my website because, you know, I really focus on the thousands of other artists that I help. And to me, that's my true mission, is to help artists. Even though I know I'm a good artist too. Yes, thank you. I'm taking a bow. You know, but I get even more joy helping other artists stay creative.
Hey,
Right.
Carolyn.
Yes.
Looking at ocean, are we looking at shells as well?
When you say shells, no, this is the pure beeswax. There's no objects in here except with pigmented beeswax. You have all kinds of different textures in the texture here. detailed photos so you can see up close the varied textures that encaustic can bring. It's just fun using a brush, the heat gun, the palette knife, all types of implements I use to get the different effects. The art of using pigmented beeswax is really the control. You can see some of the imagery that's attained. It looks very accidental, and for the most part it is, but you'd still have to control how much of it is going to be where and how and when. So I've been painting with encaustics now for, gosh, over 20 years now. So I love it. I love it. So my new challenge is the different grounds that I'm choosing. I also do it on not just the glass, but also the wood. And there's another one that I do. I'll remember the name in a second. But anyway, guys, thank you for asking.
Thank
you for asking. You can always.
Heavy, isn't it? These are heavy paintings.
Yeah, they are heavy. Especially I've made my own frames, but these. Yeah. I actually use aluminum frames for these. You don't see the frames in the photos. But.
So Carolyn, you saved some of the very best art for the very last.
Yes.
Really?
I'm blushing.
Okay. Great work.
Thank you. I'm like, well, one of my promises to myself is to do even more paintings this year and show even more. I've still sell my work with the help of art dealers and myself, but it's always good, like I said, I go back to it to help you too. I get emails from people who say different things to me, and I'm learning to just, dig my heels in and answer them back and not quite ignore them, but things like how do you substantiate charging people for a show that's just a digital show. And I go, oh my goodness, she just doesn't understand what it is I'm doing. It's not just putting an image in a virtual gallery. I really do like working a lot more, including creating the videos and this and that. So as you get to know me, you get to appreciate the truth and the sincerity that I really am here for you. Yes, I need to earn a living too, of course.
Where's your
I'm sorry, ask again.
Where do you show? Where is your gallery?
Okay, let's see. Currently, my work is being shown in Colonial Beach at a gallery called the Artist Alliance, right? Or it used to be the Jared Thor Gallery. Also in DC is the Zenith Gallery with Marjorie Goldberg. She has a lot of my art. She sold a lot of my art, bless her heart. And right now, that's about it. I've shown, like, the work that I showed you here. This was in the Strathmore Gallery for a month, right?
Right.
It's not easy to get into that show, but they just knew me and my partner Hubert Jackson, so they asked both of us to have a show there, which we did. So
congratulations, very fine work.
Thank you. Okay, guys, I think, wow, it's 9:04. What do you think? You think we can wrap?
Great job.
All right. Thank you so much. And I have all of you guys' email. So I will send you a link to the finished video. Okay? Promise.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Nice meeting everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
You're
everyone.
great.
Enjoyed it. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.